My mind is becoming very illusionary right now. I'm starting to
It's
wonder.
all fake. So, in fact, I'm not here. All of us are sort of in our minds thinking what the other person is thinking. And magic just gives you that feeling of just that pause. Or maybe there's something bigger out there. Just gives you that feeling of, brings you back together and makes you wonder for that 1.5 hour.
Oh my God, how? Yes. No way. How did this come here? If I want to study this, are there proper schools, some courses around it?
If you're young, a letter comes to your house and then you have to open it and then Hogwarts for 7 years. It's sort of a journey, inwards journey that it can put you through. Because once you're asking such fundamental questions as what is reality itself, which sort of magic tries to change, then things around you really do not matter at that point. I'm hypnotizing you to create this the best podcast in the world. It already is, but now the world will know.
So, welcome, Poshak. This is a beautiful space that Second Act Podcast series has created to bring in talents and a lot of potential like people like you have. So, let me introduce this beautiful person here. His name is Poshak Dua. He calls himself a cyber-mentalist.
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
I think you got it bang on.
So, from a very studious child to creating the world of magic is what you really do, right? In short.
Yeah.
In short, in long, in like really magical.
I started as a crazy, wild hobby, and if I was my age right now, I am 26, and I would have thought of becoming a mentalist at this age. Probably somebody would have told me, "Oh, it's not a good idea. What are you doing?" But when you're 5 or 6 years old, kids have these weird dreams, and I was like, I would tell my mom, I'm going to be a magician one day. I want to create wonder, surprise, things like that. And I think it's that age that sort of
So nice.
makes anything possible. And the theme, that's what I do now. I try and do anything impossible and make it possible. So yeah.
So very happy to meet a young person, almost
I'm very happy to meet you.
almost age of my son, by the way.
Nice.
Which is so good. I mean, with younger lot, you guys are so amazing in trying, experimenting, doing different things. We were so much about padho, फिर engineer बन जाओ, doctor बन जाओ या teacher बन जाओ.
So we have to say thanks to you because you created a base of
Thank you.
platform where people like us didn't have to worry and can follow our passions. So
Yeah,
it's
I'll
this
take the
generation.
credit of our generation. वो हमने की है मेहनत वैसे by the way, and
Exactly.
I'm sure that you've seen your parents also doing that.
Absolutely.
So amazing. I'm always fascinated by, I won't say people who do different things. I would say people who really explore opportunities and discover their own potential. Because I'm sure that there is always, in life that we get so many diverse things to do, but do we really go ahead and do that? No. So for doing something what you really picked up, I'm sure that you probably exposed yourself much earlier in life and then you continued to. So tell me a little bit about that. When did you start, and what is the, first and foremost, tell me, what is this whole space of mentalist or magician or this
Cyber-mentalist.
the cyber-mentalist space? And then we come to when did you start?
That's a good question. Instead of explaining, let me just show you something. So that'll be nice. I will use my phone and it's on flight mode. And anyways, there's no network here. So, makes no sense to not be on flight mode for here. But what is that one thing all of us are obsessed by these days?
Social media.
Absolutely.
Arey
right?
wah, kya bang on. Is it?
Are you a mentalist? I'm sure. But it's all of these kinds of apps, right? Right from Facebook to Messenger, Duolingo, all these apps. As a mentalist or a magician, I'm obsessed with playing cards. In fact, I'm going to try and reveal some secrets as well today, so stick around for that.
Yes.
But as a mentalist, I'm obsessed with playing cards. But you don't deal with playing cards much unless you're playing with them once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Ace of Spades, Queen of Hearts, those are the common cards that come to your mind. So don't go with the common cards.
Okay.
But just name a playing card out loud so everybody here knows as well.
Why should I name it? Then you will know.
That's okay, I can know.
Okay, then 2 of Chidi.
2 of Chidi. So the
Chidi is what?
clubs.
Clubs.
The tree
Yeah.
sort of thing. Happy with that? Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I showed you all of these apps in the beginning. Not a lot of people have this app, Charge Point. That's very uncommon, especially Tesla as well in India. Makes no sense to have, right? Opera is a browser. Wish. This is a watch thing. So some
So
apps
why are
that are
you
random.
having all these apps if it's
There's a
not?
point for it. Look,
Acha.
if you look at Facebook, of course it looks like an F, right? This looks like an O.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your card? Two of clubs. Yeah.
Yes. कैसे है? Two of clubs. चश्मा पहनना
Peno,
पड़ेगा.
peno.
Sorry. Two of clubs कैसे है?
Did you see
Two.
something?
So this is two of how?
Does the
No,
camera
like,
see it as
oh,
well?
there has to be some trick. Okay, let's just change the card now. Can I please think of another card?
So this is what cyber-mentalism
No,
is all
no,
about.
first tell me, can I think of another card?
I let you keep wondering that.
Oh, wow, that was a good start to, like, making me feel already very admired with this whole thing of, like, I would say magic, because this is magic for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what cyber-mentalist is, but
Yeah, so the idea for me was, like you said, a key. How do you start with something so bizarre? So I feel, honestly, I feel I have some sort of mental illness where I never think what other people would think. I just follow my curiosity. You know, there's always
so इसको
that.
mental illness नहीं कहते, by the way, इसको second act कहते हैं.
Oh, okay. So, great plug.
Great
So
plug.
I feel like I have a second act syndrome, as you'd like to call it, because whenever I have found something that I'm curious about, instead of thinking what other people would say, और इंडिया में है ना कि मतलब दूसरे लोग क्या कहेंगे and things like that, which is okay. I think every society, we are a more community-oriented society, so you have to think about that. But for some reason, I never thought of that. So जब मुझे playing cards का इंटरेस्ट आया, आई वुड कैरी इट विद मी ऑल द टाइम. एंड इंडियन सोसाइटी में प्लेइंग कार्ड्स आर नॉट रिवर्ड एज मच. लाइक यू
Yeah, of
थिंक
course
कि
not.
स्पेशली एक बच्चा लेके क्यों घूम रहा है ताश के पत्ते. दैट वाज वेरी वियर्ड फॉर पीपल. एंड फॉर years and years I didn't even know how to play cards, but I knew hundreds
Tricks.
of tricks to do
Really?
with just a deck, and I would keep shuffling it in my hands, carry it in my school all day. And then when I got interested in hypnosis, the same thing. And then after college, I was very interested in tech all throughout my days, but like technology and phones. And I realized that all magic, if you see, at some point gets updated or modernized. So the reason a lot of magicians do card magic and things like that, because in Europe they used to play a lot of card parties and things like that. But today people are obsessed with their phones, and hence the idea of cyber-mentalism, because people are carrying their phones. So something can happen with a phone that to people is interesting because they're all carrying it.
Two of clubs can't get out of my mind right now. How did you get that? In the end, you have to do it one more time. And
We'll
then,
do something. We'll do something with the two of clubs, I promise.
Okay. So, okay, interestingly, you were taking this to school, but how are your parents at that time okay with this concept of you playing with cards when you had to study? And
They
like,
were excited about it. They're like, we
Oh.
wanted you to become an engineer, but great, you're becoming a magician. No, I'm kidding.
oh yeah.
It was actually the opposite reaction. My parents were really worried, and now looking back, I wonder how did they allow me to do what they did. But I think they were quite liberal in the sense. Also, the confidence that comes with being a decent at academics, a little brighter than most kids. So I think they were not that worried because they were like, "Acha, kuch to kar hi lega." But that feeling did set into them a lot, and everybody around me, not my parents because they were still seeing how much hard work I was putting in, but everybody around me, the relatives and all, they were really worried in the beginning कि मतलब इतना
लड़का बिगड़ रहा
हाँ कि
है, नहीं?
इतना different क्या हो रहा है. But again, I have
But
that
tell me
mental
something,
disease.
that if you go for Diwali parties, do people let you sit on the table because they know that you're the wicked one, you can do anything?
Good question. It's a conundrum, right? Because if I play and do not win, then I'm a bad mentalist.
Yes, that's true.
And if I win, then I cheated.
Yeah.
So there's no way out. So I
So then
tend
what
to,
do you do? You don't play?
I'm the judge. I'm the
Oh,
referee,
you're the-
making sure that everything's fair and proper.
But do people also give you under the table to say, hey, मेरे को जिताओ? वो सब होता है?
Let's go to a casino and just try and win some money right now.
No,
We
but
can
on
do
a
that.
serious note, I want to ask that, with whatever you're doing, it's of course trick And also, like you said, it's hypnosis in some way, isn't that? Or is it
So
something more?
magic is such a vast field. Like you could study anything that human beings think is impossible, but can be done on some level. So right from illusions of perception to how your brain works to how your memory works. There's this psychologist called Daniel Kahneman who did a lot of research about memory, that how our memory is sort of unreliable and what we remember is not what we really remember. And magicians try to always manipulate your memory, think something happened when it didn't happen. To hypnosis, which is actually just making influencing people on the spot and things like that. To real stunts, like if somebody has heard of the person Harry Houdini, he's a legendary American magician. He would actually risk his life, risk his own body. So it's such a gamut of things that it's hard to pinpoint to one thing. But I try to take all of the good things from everywhere and sort of try and create the most impossible moment in that thing. So whatever the
Wow.
theme, whatever the story, whatever the show is, my aim is ki how can I give people the most aha wow moment. And the method doesn't matter, honestly. Like you can do anything, but it's like a film or a painting, right? Ultimately you're trying to give people a feeling. उसके पीछे VFX हुआ है, CGI हुआ है, नोलन की तरह असली में शूट किया है, क्या कर सकते हैं?
Oh, that's a smart one. But tell me, Ki, if I want to study this, are there proper schools or, some courses around it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're young, a letter comes to your house and then you have to open it, and then Hogwarts for 7 years.
That's
If
funny.
somebody's really if somebody's really curious, I think most people find their own way. But I think just go on YouTube and see the most popular magicians. So Penn and Teller is
But
a
magician को देख के थोड़ी उसकी tricks आते हैं.
you will, because I think once you start understanding magic, you lose the most important thing. You know what?
But
You can't enjoy magic after that, because anyone, if he's interested in learning magic, first I tell them watch all the greatest magicians so you can absorb and see as much magic and get wowed as many times, because you're not going to get that feeling as you
Anymore.
get deeper into it. So Penn and Teller have this show called Fool Us, where they
Okay.
also try and so these are legendary magicians, 70 50, in their 60s 70s. They've been performing for almost all their life, and young magicians come and try and fool them, and they in code word try to guess. And if they're able to guess, then you didn't fool them. If they are not able to guess, then you fool them. So while watching your show, you might be able to understand some code words, some things. So you'll gradually understand how magic works and things like that, and then you'll find your own way on the internet and things like that. Magic has a great literature. I learn from so many magicians, books, watching other art forms now, like
Wow.
meet a lot of filmmakers, directors, everybody, and the perspectives that they give me is honestly a lot more enriching to me at this point, because there's only so much that you can learn from your own art form. There's this famous quote. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling, but
No, no.
there's this
Very interesting.
there's this famous quote by Kurt Vonnegut.
Okay.
He's a very famous writer. He's like, writing should not get into its own thing, it should get inspired from other people. So if you have one foot in whatever you're doing, so if anybody wants to do magic, just, I'm sure right now you're not doing it, that's why I want to do it. So whatever you're doing, that's what makes you unique as a magician. Because if you're just doing magic and studying that, then whatever you're doing, anybody else can also do it because they learned it from the same thing, right? But if, let's say, you're a sports person and you learn a card trick, now
Right.
you can combine maybe
Yeah.
running and card trick together. I don't know.
So, what is your second act? Let me come to that question then, so that you can tell me what is that which brings to you with this beautiful concept called second act?
I think I am constantly rediscovering myself, but at the same time, I'm very aware of the fact that, I'm born to do this in
Okay.
some way. I'm born to do magic. So I was, as a kid, I was, very studious, studying for engineering, IIT, all of that. And at some point, I realized this is not meant for me. In fact, when I was in 11th grade, I'd already finished all the 11th grade syllabus, and teachers was just teaching all of the IIT stuff, and I was trying to focus on the whiteboard, and I couldn't focus anymore. Like my brain just rejected it, and I thought my eyes are getting weak or something. And after a week or 2 weeks of this happening, I went to the doctor, and the doctor said your eyes are perfectly fine, but every time I would go to the whiteboard, I just couldn't see. And so it was the most bizarre, it was like magic happening on me. And then
Yeah. illusion
Yeah,
of
almost like that, right? And at that point, I couldn't understand it, and nobody in my coming from a middle class sort of family, like people just thought maybe it's something they didn't know, and I also ignored it. I was like, maybe I can't see it, I'll just read it from here and listen.
Okay.
And so I managed somehow, and it was later on after I passed my 12th and I decided I don't want to do IIT because what I love is magic and maybe something around that. So I joined a mass communication college. When I came there in the college, and now I was really excited because they were teaching things like film and art and history and all of those things that could maybe somehow help me in what I was doing, and I could see everything. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
It was never actually my eyes, it was my
लोग कहते हैं
brain.
याददाश्त वापस आ गई आपकी आईसाइट
आंखें
वापस आ
वापस आ
गई
गई. It was my brain almost rejecting the idea of studying for something, because maybe somewhere, even though consciously I wanted to study, but subconsciously I decided in my mind that I don't want to do this.
So
And
nice.
once you've just decided that, your brain just rejects a lot of information. It was like a mind blowing moment for me. And that's when I started pursuing it really seriously in college.
Very nice.
Made myself comfortable on stage. Like doing something over here is a different thing, but performing for
know.
thousands of people on stage, like I did a show for Comic Con, and all these young kids are looking at me, and there are thousands in an open stadium, right? It's one of the biggest shows I did. And that's when I realized the gravity of the things I've put myself in. So the only reason I could do that was because all throughout my college days, I was going to different theater places and trying to learn acting just so that I could become comfortable over here, and
Very
just
nice.
voice exercises, everything. So you have to sort of have a vision and then just plan. And so this,
Very nice.
what I'm doing right now, sort of is my second act, and the idea is to keep making it better and better to the point where maybe I could say, okay, I have a world class act where you could compare me to the world class magicians that I look up to. That's sort of the goal.
So cool. But tell me कि magic और being a mentalist कुछ फर्क है या it's the same thing?
I think it's a modern sort of reinvention because every generation becomes smarter than the last generation, right? So, people, if you track the history of magic, a lot of it started actually in India. Indian fakirs would do some crazy things. I'll tell you a story about a Indian fakir thing that I've seen soon. But from there, it transitioned into a lot of European magicians doing some things with cards and things like that, and then a lot of illusions, so sawing a lady in half and things like that. So for that generation,
how did they do that?
it's an amazing thing, right? But if you see it right now, you wouldn't find it that impressive. You know why? Even though the illusion is great, but in the 18th century, the science wasn't that developed where they were unsure whether you could really do it or not. Now, if you see it, you'll be like, oh, I know this is an illusion. I don't know how it works, but it won't be the same feeling. Imagine 200, 250 years ago sitting in a theater and a lady is being cut right in front of your eyes. It was voodoo at that point. I think what has happened is people know that
too much logical reasoning has come, and like we don't really also surrender to the process. We'll always question it. Ki acha ye kaise hua? Like my mind is still on tuka chidi, by the way.
It's the information age, right? So in the information age, what matters most to people is a lot of data they are generating information. So if somebody comes and tells you, oh, I can tell you what you're thinking, and you're like, oh, this is private information. How do you know about this? That sort of impresses the most. Also, mind is still a mystery.
Can you tell me what I'm thinking right now?
We can try.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try this.
Okay.
In fact, think of a number between 1 and 100.
No, you don't give me prompt. You just tell me what am I thinking.
Yeah, I think there's a process to it. Still, it's not real magic.
Okay.
Okay. Show me your hands, in fact, like that. Yeah. Hold them a little bit in front of the camera and think of a number between, think of a number between 1 and 100 and say that number out loud.
4.
4. Any reason why you went for that?
Yeah, because it's my favorite number.
That's okay. Okay. Choose one of the hands. Choose one of the hands.
This one?
This one. Put the other one down for now. Can you just turn this over? Turn this hand over. Yeah. And bring it close to you. And see if you can see the number 4. Can you see the number 4 there?
If I would say number 0, I would also see number 0.
I like how skeptical she is for somebody who, was impressed by me and invited me to her podcast. She's like, I'm going to act like a big skeptic. That's nice. Come close. Can you hear the number 4? You can't hear it, right?
No.
Can you smell it? You can't smell
No.
it? Try smelling it, maybe. Maybe you can.
What is the smell of number 4 then?
Nothing, right? I'm just trying to activate your imagination here. I have a list of food items here. Okay. Number 1 you can see is rice. Number 2 is apples. What's number 4? Can you read it out loud? Yeah, just wait. It'll help.
मेरा चश्मा मैं पहन ही लूँ मैं सोच रही हूँ हाँ जी.
Can you read what's
Number
on?
4 is rose petals.
Yeah. Can you keep your hand just like that? Imagine seeing some rose petals over there.
Okay.
Let me know once you can see them. Hold it like this. Imagine you have rose petals in your hand. In fact, just crush them. Just crush it. Yeah. And genuinely try and see them over here. Right now you're imagining, right? Now stop imagining.
Stop.
Done?
I
You
can't
know
stop.
you know the smell of rose petals? Just try and bring them close and see if you can smell it.
Oh my God, how? Yes.
And this is not your imagination, right?
How is it possible? I had no smell in my hand. Now I can actually smell rose. But what's the significance of number 4 there then? What happened to number 4? What was the trick of number 4? Please tell me.
No, it was a list of 100 things, and I just wanted you to say one number. So if you had said, let's say, 78, you would have gotten red wine, but it's not your lucky
Oh,
day.
yeah, not my lucky day. Oh, wow. How did that happen?
It's crazy, right? So I'll tell you the. You
Yeah.
can still smell it. So I'll tell you the origin story of this
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
This actually Indian fakirs
Okay.
would do such crazy things almost 100 200 years ago. We've forgotten a lot of history of our own country, of why magic is so great. I got a chance, and not a lot of them are there alive now, because this is like a lost art form. So if you read old books, you'll find a lot of these ancient fakirs doing tricks to kings of India. So all the Mughals, even before that, they would go and try and impress them. I got a chance in, I think, Bangalore to witness one of these amazing people. And what he did was something called the Great Indian Mango Trick.
Okay.
So what is it? What it's about is this person who's just wearing a dhoti. He comes in and he has just like a small sapling or something, which he puts under like a normal basket, that this size of a basket, and he puts it, and you can't see through the basket, but he will show you a couple of times, and he's not hiding anything. It's his dhoti. You can even go and check, just that, nothing wearing on top, nothing like that, right? And he would just show us that, and he would build suspense, and he can do it 360 degrees around it, so he's genuinely not hiding nothing. And there's a group of us magicians just watching him, making sure that everything is to the point. And he built the suspense, and after 2-3 minutes we're expecting, oh, nothing's gonna happen. And then suddenly he lifts the basket, and that sapling is gone. And after that sapling, that plant had just that small sapling, and now it has amazingly like a, almost like a mango tree, bigger than the basket itself. And when he lifted that, we were like,
So,
what?
being a
And
magician,
he
what
had
do you
like two or
think?
three magicians. I have no clue. This is what I'm saying. Indian ancient magic is so great, and these people never reveal their secrets. Like, foreign authors would come and ask them how it works, and pay them something that's great amount from them, but they will still not reveal, and they will tell them some false method, and they'll be very happy. Oh, that is how it works, and then go off, write it in their books. But no one really knows, because it's passed down from generations and generations, and they value it so much.
Wow.
It's like one of the great traditions of India. So when I witnessed that, I was just like, great.
So my only memory goes to PC Sorcar. That's my only magic person I know in my life who
Legend.
used to always have this water of India. And I used to keep thinking, if he empties that, that kettle or the jar, how does the water come there?
Legend. There's a funny anecdote about it, कि water of India जो trick है वो दुनिया में हर जगह सब magicians ने try करी, but कहीं नहीं काम करी, बस इंडिया में काम करी.
Hey.
Maybe water was like scarce at that point, or maybe women had to travel to wells to get it at some point. There's something about India. You're fascinated about it, so it's also like not everything works around the globe. Yeah, and there's a legendary act by PC Sorcar Jr. about a X-ray blindfold, where a lot of these frauds who claim that we can read through the eyes. It's ultimately any magician can replicate it, and if you want to see the proof, just go and see the PC Sorcar Junior Act. He's able to just blindfold himself and calculate numbers, tell you things about yourself you've never heard. It's a legendary 10-minute video on YouTube, so just don't believe in all of those things. It's as a magician can easily replicate it.
So, what all can you do? Is there anything and everything that you can do, or there are things that you can't do?
Yeah, um, I can't change my grades. For sure. But yeah, I think that's the journey, right? The constant journeys of trying to imagine what else could a magician do. I'm working on something where I'll be pushing my human body to a certain extent where nobody should go, but for a crazy visual of spectacle that people would enjoy. So I'm constantly challenging myself. The past few years I've been challenging myself with sleight of hand and with technology and things like that. And as a kid I used to carry a pack of cards with me, so I'm very good with cheating techniques and things like that. In fact, I'll show you one right now.
Now, tell me, can you really help somebody win?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean,
So, I'm going to call you over
done.
in partnership.
So we have a deck of cards there, and just for the audience, we'll make sure that all the cards are.
Do I need to
right?
wear specs? This much I can see.
You can see, right? You can
Yeah.
see all the cards. Okay, so let's try this. We'll give it a good mix. And all you have to do is you have to just say stop. Okay. So I'll mix the cards.
So,
And
is this any deck you can play with, or this specific deck?
Any deck. That's the whole idea of practicing sleight of hand, all of that. That you could actually ultimately do it with any deck.
Okay.
Yeah. Show me your hand.
Which one?
Anyone.
Okay, this one.
Okay. Perfect. I'll go through the cards. I just want you to shout stop whenever you want. Okay. Say stop.
Stop.
Over here. You said it very quickly, right? Most people would anticipate that you wait for a while and do things like that.
No, stop.
Hold out the other hand as well. I'll put the next card over here. I just want to build the suspense here. If you had said stop one card before, and clearly I could not know, it would be the 10 of diamonds, right?
Clearly, you would know because you know everything.
I know nothing, trust
Okay.
me. If you had said one card after, it would be the Jack of Hearts. In fact, anywhere else you would have said stop, it'll be a different card, right? Remember in the beginning, I told you we'll come back. You were asking why the Two of Clubs.
Yeah. No way. No way. How did this card come to me?
You want to know?
Yeah. Sure, at least teach me this one.
Once you know, you can't unknow it. So if you're okay with that, I'll tell you.
What do you mean by I can't unknow it?
Because you know how it works, right? So then you can't change that fact. You lose the suspense of ever seeing this. But I'll tell you.
Yeah, but I want to know how this
Want to know?
happened. Yeah.
Okay, the audience will also know it. So
Yes.
everybody gets to learn something, right?
Yeah.
So the Two of Clubs was actually always on top of the deck. When I was mixing the cards,
No, but you didn't see.
I made sure that the Two of Clubs, I didn't see, but it was always on top of the deck, right?
How?
Show me your hand. When you said stop, this is a cheating technique that a lot of cheaters use across casinos around the world. So always there's something called second deal. So when I was dealing the cards, actually I was never dealing the top card. I was always dealing the second card. So to show you in full view, this is the exposed view. The card on top never loses sight. So look, the Two of Clubs is here. It never moves.
Can you put that Two of Clubs here?
It looks like I'm putting, but I'm never putting. I'm always keeping it here, right? That's the whole point.
But how did you even put that Two of Clubs right in the beginning without seeing where it was?
Years and years of practice. But now you know how it works.
Okay, wow. That was amazing. Thank you. I mean, like, I'm losing track of what I had to ask you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is amazing, though. I would say at 26, what you're doing is something which is commendable. So, where do you think this journey is taking you?
I think it's very hard to say, but I do feel that trying to make Indian magic go global is just one of my aspirations.
Oh.
I'm going to continue play with technology continue seeing, every generation gets smarter. So I'm sure by the time I'm 5, 10 years into this generation, we'll have Neuralink in everybody's brain and things like that. And maybe mind reading as a thing would not exist because we could just read each other's mind and things like
Yeah.
that. And so you'll have to again do something else. So I'm prepared for that. And just working towards staying, giving people that feeling of wonder, constantly, researching new ideas, things like that. Let's see. It's too hard to say where it'll take. No, I'm just grab whatever opportunity is coming, and trying to, make the best use of it. That's sort of the whole idea.
Do you try to like hypnotize people while
Sometimes.
talking? Because I can just feel that energy already. Is that happening?
I mean, sometimes you can just hold out your hands like this
Okay.
and hold them close like this, and hold them tight as if you're making a prayer, and bring your index fingers up and keep looking at your index fingers, keep staring at them, and the more you look at them, the closer they start to come,
Yeah.
and the closer they start to come, the stronger the magnet becomes. In fact, it becomes so strong that the fingers just start to come closer and closer
Oh my
and
God.
closer, almost coming close, and just start to touch. Just let it happen. When I
I'm not
snap
going
my
to let it
fingers,
happen
it just
now.
becomes 10 times stronger, and it just keeps getting closer and closer
Oh
and
my
closer. I
God.
think you're doing this perfectly well. And
I
just when they
think I'm
touch,
deliberately not touching.
just relax your hands. Take a deep breath in.
But touch तो आपने कराया मैंने तो नहीं किया.
But you could see it coming close, right? For
I-
the sake of the podcast, I just quickly, wanted.
Oh, अच्छा, like that. But it didn't touch, and we will see it on video that it was parallel and it
It
was.
was almost coming close, yeah?
Because I think it's the way that I was looking at it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was coming closer.
Right. So magicians, illusionists play with a lot of perception, right? So the reason it's not actually the way you're looking at it, it's more physiological. Your hand automatically wants to come close together, but this is something called a suggestibility test, where we check whether someone's suggestible enough to then later take to the next stage of hypnosis. So whenever hypnotists do this, they do this with a mass audience of 10,000, from which this works perfectly well in like 10 seconds for, let's say, 100 of them. And from 100 they select the best 10, and from 10 they select the best 5 and they bring them on stage, and those 5 people then do the ridiculous things on hypnosis. Maybe nobody knows why hypnosis really works. Maybe somebody's acting, somebody really wants to be the center of attention, somebody super suggestible, things like that.
Really? That's another angle I'm like hearing today. Wow. My mind is becoming very illusionary right now. I'm starting to
It's
wonder.
all fake. In fact, I'm not here. You're just interviewing
Yeah, somebody.
Shadow.
Shadow. Yeah, very cool. I'm very intrigued by this, by the way. Yeah. So, how would you really want the young people like you to really pick on this art? Because you're a rare person in this age that I have seen doing. Do you know of any other people, or like, do they have an interest in something like
I know
this?
very few performers. There are a lot of people who do it as a hobby, but the whole idea of doing it as a performance art and putting yourself out there in front of people, first of all, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and then you have to sort of you have to find it at a very young age to be able to do it professionally at this age. And then, all the parents and things like that have to be lucky enough to born in like a metropolitan city where you have access to everything that I am lucky enough, touch wood, to have in my life to sort of bring it to this level. So I think very few people, but everybody is trying to do their own thing, and that's what I like the most about it.
And how did you reach the celebrity circle?
That's
Because I see a lot of people in the
That's a secret.
celebrity circle being
No,
around you.
I think it happened organically. A lot of times I'm also interested in, other art forms. So I would just go and talk to filmmakers, actors, comedians, and see what they're up to. And, it often happens that when you're doing something cool and interesting, somebody will say, hey, you know what, come, this friend of mine is there, and let me show you and introduce you to him. So it just happened gradually. I didn't honestly have a strategy. In fact, to this day, I'm an introvert, so I avoid meeting people or even doing marketing of any kind. So most of the shows that I get is through word of mouth and things like that.
So cool.
So I'm lucky enough to sort of, fingers crossed, that people, entrepreneurs, everybody's excited about this art form. They see some sort of interesting potential of where this could go, just like me. I think people these days, so we're in the dopamine rush sort of a thing where all of us are sort of in our minds thinking what the other person is thinking, and magic just gives you that feeling of just that pause. Or maybe there's something bigger out there. Maybe whatever I was thinking about that guy at my job, or this person in my relationship, maybe all of that is there, but there's something even bigger out there, and just gives you that feeling of, brings you back together and makes you wonder for that 1.5 hour, where you're just, maybe you can rediscover yourself and things like that. So that's another thing that I'd like to do, just allow people to sort of experience this
Wow.
and ask questions about themselves. It's sort of a journey, inwards journey, that it can put you through, because once you're asking such fundamental questions as what is reality itself, which sort of magic tries to change, then things around you really do not matter at that point.
So, is this also a kind of healing that you feel that can bring for people?
It could be like a lot of, if you study the history of magic, shamans was a word. The shamans used to do magic, miracles, healing. A lot of this was combined, and I think a lot of our traditions, they circle back. So I wouldn't be surprised if people like me start, taking this route of, and in a way, it's already done in India. Like a lot of the babas we see, they do some kind of trick. Now, whether that is for effect or whether that is for healing, people, the fact that it exists means that it works for people. So that thing is always there. It's just that in a more modernized form, without having the garb of supernatural powers or anything like that. Maybe you could just present it like this, as without having the supernatural element, just saying, oh, this is an art form, but experience this in this way, and then ask yourself those questions. Maybe it could work.
Very cool. So this, of course, podcast is a place where I want inspirational stories to go out. And to reach any place, you have to break a lot of barriers. You have to break a lot of internal conflicts. You have to really understand that there is something which probably is not explored, but you're willing to take a chance on that. What are some things that really helped you to be here, or what are some things that you really broke to reach where you have reached today?
Right. I think first thing would be like not confining to the boundaries of society, always willing to take risk. Even as a young kid, I remember when I first decided I want to do IIT. It was unconventional because I wasn't just preparing for IIT like most kids. I also wanted to change my school and go to another school. And that was a
Okay.
big decision that I took,
Oh,
not my
wow.
parents at the age of, at class 8th and ninth. So it's always that kid who was trying to think what I want to do or what I want to become. Even when I ask my friends, what's my personality type? He's like, bro, you're always like, this is what I want to do, that sort of a thing. I don't know how much of that makes me who I am, but always that feeling of sort of taking your own decisions and not making sure, not confining to the what the society tells you to do, and then whatever passion or whatever calling you have, sort of just always staying in touch with it. So even though I
Hmm.
know all of us have responsibilities, and we have to make money, but it's that calling, when you do that, that gives you a sense of soul, like
Yes.
that there's something extra about this person.
Hmm.
I was telling you before this that I don't do this for money, like, or for fame for that matter, or for any extrinsic validation. I love when people respond to it the way you responded it, the happiness it gives people, but ultimately it gives me joy to see people, that people are getting
Yeah.
joyful. It's
Yeah.
for
So
my
cool.
own sort
Hmm.
of thing. Oh, that I do that, and that's sort of like an inner kid inside me, or that performer inside me, that sort of, this is pre YouTube, like, now on YouTube people can get instant validation after putting a video, but pre YouTube, as a kid, when I was in 5th 6th class, I did my first show on stage, and right when I did it, I got the validation. As soon as I show someone something, they are amazed, and that pushes me to work harder for the next thing. So it's that feeling that I'm constantly chasing for myself. Ki what else can I do? And magic also has this learning curve. And I always tell people learning is exponential. So the more you learn, the more you can learn. So I'm constantly trying to learn new
Very
skills.
nice.
So, I'm learning right now to program and to code. I don't know how I'll use it. Maybe I'll use it in,
Very
some
cool.
way in technology. Maybe it'll just be a thing. I'm learning some I won't say here, but like some really things with my human body where people should not push it to that extent to sort of do something that looks miraculous, but it's actually not. You can just, you might have heard of Wim Hof. He puts himself in ice and sort of
Yes.
stays there. So all those sort of things, even our ancient fakirs, babas can do some crazy things. I've seen these pictures in Kashi and Varanasi where babas can put their head inside the mud and stay like that for a day, for 2 days. So all of these amazing things exist around us if we just pay attention. So whatever you want to do, just pay attention to things around you, and maybe you'll find the magic.
Wow, so cool. And is there a person that whom you truly get inspired from, or who's really motivated you in this journey?
Yeah, I think it's this guy called David Blaine.
Okay.
He's the guy who made magic cool. So the year I was born, 1997, is the year his TV special came out. It was called Street Magic.
Okay.
In India, street magic is actually an old concept. So it's funny how in the West it was like a new thing, where you would go to the streets of New York
Well,
and
they
do
didn't have these kind of streets. They're opulent people.
right, right. So he would go to the streets of New York, fancy streets, and by that time the camera had become smaller, so you can actually carry a camera in your hand, and he would just perform card tricks for people on the streets. And what crazy thing he did was, which nobody thought before that, because people were focusing on the illusion, right? Look how the girl is cut in half. He's like, that's not important. Whatever happens with cards is okay, but the way people reacted, so like your reaction right now, that's what the focus is. And that, there's the first shot of street magic is like a pregnant lady going crazy and saying, I think I'm going to have my baby right here. And that is what made the show. So
Wow.
I always think about like the human emotions of whatever I'm
Oh,
doing.
so
Ultimately,
cool.
it's about, and Indians are anyways more emotional, more dramatic. So I'm not dramatic. So I mean, I'm very stoic.
You make the drama happen,
Right.
by the way.
Right. So
You
in a way,
take-
I'm the perfect contrast, right? If I am stoic,
I
then
know
everybody
that's
else
true.
around
Everybody
me is
around you is,
dramatic.
yeah. So is there a favorite trick of yours?
Um, yes.
Something that you truly enjoy and people get mesmerized?
I don't do it, but it's a favorite trick of mine which inspires me sort of that maybe one day
Okay.
I could do this. So there's
What's
this
that?
great film called Ship of Theseus,
Okay.
whose filmmaker is like a mentor and a friend, Anand Gandhi. And in that film, there's a quote like, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And
Okay.
I came across it there, and then, through other places, now I see that quote in a lot of other places. So a great magician called Harry Houdini actually used that quote 100 years ago, because his one of his greatest trick was the water torture cell,
Okay.
where he would go inside a water tank, but he was upside down and he was tied to handcuffs, and then curtains would come down, and when it would go up, he was freed from the handcuffs. He was be outside the water, and he was just standing on top. And for 4 5 minutes while the curtains were down, everybody in the theater was just trying to hold their breaths, wondering like, how's he gonna come out.
Wow.
And the reason I like that trick, of course, it's one of the greatest tricks that's ever done. He's putting his life at risk, but also because nobody else could replicate it. And the reason nobody else could replicate it, because it required all the skills that he
That
had
he had
learned
learned.
right from a kid. So he was a gymnast. It required that
Wow.
he learned handcuff skills, how to open handcuffs all throughout his, professional magic years. And then he learned how to control his breath underwater, and a lot of other things that came together to, put that act. So it was like 30, 40 years of culmination of work. So hence that quote, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So maybe one
That
day I could combine all my skills and create something, that's sort of the dream.
I have a feeling from this podcast that you've just kind of kicked off your journey. And I think because of you, we'll also get famous in few years, because then I'll say, hey, you know what? Poshak was sitting right next to me.
People will come back and look at this.
Yeah,
I
they'll-
hope that happens. You're very sweet for saying that.
You will be like rising and shining and doing excellent work. And I'll be like, I know this person, and they're right here.
I think it's going to happen the same for this, because it's a great the whole idea of second act is something that a lot more people should have in their lives. So I'm honored, first of all, to be at the podcast. And
sweet.
just
I'm so excited.
the fact that you're doing it for not me but for everybody and for a lot of women entrepreneurs and things like
Also,
that.
yes.
It's something that inspires so many people across
Thank
India.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel so overwhelmed just hearing this. I'm just putting everything that I have also in this.
I'm hypnotizing you to create this the best podcast in the world. It already is, but now the world will know.
Yeah. I'm ready to be hypnotized for that. So thank you. Before we go, I have this very interesting, lineup where you have to say, "I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry." And think of these three things that you're sorry for, but you're not sorry for, which made you who you are. So that's the starting point of second act.
Okay, so three things
Yeah.
that I'm sorry but not sorry for. I'm sorry for all to my brother for using him as a audience for all my
Oh,
as a test subject for so many years and torturing him to death to the point he was like, bro, please stop. I've seen million card tricks. I'm sorry, but not sorry for bunking my school. Sorry, mom and dad, 11th, 12th. I would go to streets of Saket and try and steal people's watches, but I would give them back. So another skill I have is pickpocketing, where I, without your watch is there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's still there. Yeah.
I'm just-
After the, I don't do it on camera. That's
you
the
don't?
speciality. So I'm sorry if I'm not sorry for doing that. It helped me open up with people, made me more comfortable. And finally, I think I'm sorry but not sorry for quitting engineering and actually choosing to do what I love. Because
So cool.
ultimately, even if, I had not become wherever I am, had not reached there, just the idea of doing it, enjoying it, and meeting the people I could. Like, I've met some of the greatest artists through this art form because they are interested a little bit in what I am doing. And of course, I would never, as an engineer or somebody in a corporate life, get the chance to meet those artists in those environments. Maybe I could just meet them, when they're giving a talk or something. But just the proximity that I have, the chance that I could talk to them, and it just inspires me and fills me with joy that I can talk to such creative people. And just for that, I'm glad.
So nice. Just before you go, you want to say something on second act to people who are hearing us, seeing us today?
For sure. Like, I was really heartbroken when the pandemic happened. Like a lot of us, and a lot of people went through even
Yes.
adverse situations. And, I didn't have a backup because I thought that, this is what I want to do. And then suddenly I was like, for 2 years, you can't go out. And this is an art form that requires people. So it was the worst time in my life. And that's when I realized that it's actually, whatever situation you're in the most adverse situation, actually new opportunities come up. That's how I became a cyber-mentalist, because I discovered my love of technology again.
Wow.
Because I got, dabbled in my pre-IIT love, got back into tech. So anyone who's watching and maybe you're going through a tough time, just remember that sort of every adverse situation will have those great opportunities that you can, actually find and create something new out of it and, create more magic.
So that was Poshak. I'm feeling nutrition from within today. So thank you for really, really, what should I say, for mesmerizing me, for really enhancing my mood. I was, having a tough day before this, and what a great podcast. So
Yeah.
I would just say that we don't meet people like you every day.
Thank you for having
So,
me. Is the recording still going?
Yes.
Should we end on like a cool trick?
Yeah.
Fun.
Yes.
But we'll need maybe wear your glasses because I don't know, we might need it. And let's try this.
Okay.
Let's make you a FBI agent. Do you watch those FBI shows and things
Yeah,
like that?
sometimes.
Yeah. Grab your phone from here.
Also phone.
Yeah, we'll need your phone.
Now you'll hack my phone.
No. I won't even open it, I promise.
Okay.
The reason I won't hack is because I've already hacked it. So that's
Now you will have all my apps distorted.
just open camera, okay?
Okay.
Hold it like this. Imagine you have like the FBI ID and things like that over here, right?
Okay.
And give me your best crazy FBI look, just like over here. And yeah, perfect. Oh, I think this is very cool. Oh, awesome. Perfect.
Awesome.
We'll keep the phone right over there, okay?
Okay.
We won't touch it. Hold out
Okay.
your hand. And
What's with the hand every time?
because we don't have a table and we improvise.
Oh,
so this
okay,
is
like
nice.
that.
Okay. And can you name a playing card? We don't have all the cards, but just quickly name one. Not the two of clubs.
King of Hearts.
Did you see the King of Hearts? Did you just say it? I'm
I
not
just
sure.
said
Oh,
it.
then another king. We don't have the
No,
King of Hearts.
sorry. Now your trick is
Look,
sorry.
the King of Hearts is
I
the
don't know. You said any. No, sorry. Now
I also said
audience.
we don't have all the cards, so some other card.
Okay, then the Queen of Hearts.
I hope we have the Queen of Hearts.
अब तुम्हारे पास है नहीं जो मुझे
Okay,
चाहिए.
okay. Let's see. Let's try this.
Okay. The Jack of Spades I could see. Chalo.
No, not the one you could see. You said the Queen of Hearts, right? We'll go with that. I'll go through the cards wherever you want. In fact, I'll come over here. Wherever you want, just say stop, and I'll stop right there. Wherever you want, just quickly say.
Now
stop.
let me see what you're doing here.
Just
Okay,
quickly
stop.
say over here.
Yeah.
I'll pull that card out loud, like an out jogged thing. Okay. What was your card? Queen of Hearts, right?
Yeah.
Would you be impressed if that's the Queen of Hearts?
Yeah.
How much between 1 and 10?
Like I can't contain it. You know, I'll be so impressed.
You know what? Let's take it to the next.
Ready?
Watch. Look, if I just do that, did you see that?
No.
Just like the king. Oh, this is the two of
Oh.
clubs. What a miracle.
What a
But
miracle.
look. If I just spread it like this, there's a Queen of Spades. There's Queen of Clubs. There's no Queen of Hearts, right? Maybe it wasn't in the deck. Maybe I'm cheating. Hold on to that. Look, even before we started, remember you were holding the wallet over here?
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it. In fact, if I open, there's one card I keep just inside.
Which is Queen of Hearts.
I'd be shocked. There's no other.
No way. No way. How did this come here?
But
I
look,
want to know.
maybe Queen of Hearts is a common card, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I influenced
that's
you to do
yeah,
that.
correct.
But keep wearing your specs. There's all these different cards you can see, right? All
Okay,
these
yes,
cards.
yes.
This time, I don't even want you to get influenced. Just say stop quickly wherever you want.
Stop.
Over here. Like this card is the king. Can you tell everybody what this card is? Just say it.
9 of Diamonds.
9 of diamonds. Okay, I don't trust. Oh, 9 of diamonds with all the.
Oh, I love
I
that.
trust you. You're kidding. Okay.
By the way, I don't trust you what you're doing.
Yeah, nobody should trust me. I'm a pathological liar. Watch. 9 of diamonds, right? It's done.
What?
No, genuinely it's done. Look.
What? Done
If
what?
I go through that, do you see the 9 of diamonds? Look.
Yes.
Oh, it's still there. Hold on to that. Just remember we clicked a picture, right? Do not look at the phone, but if you were to just guess, how many minutes do you think has it been since we clicked that picture? Just if you were to
2,
just guess.
3 minutes.
3 minutes approx. We'll try this. You see the time? It's hold your other hand as well. Hold my phone. Just on the camera. It's 5:19 right now. We'll try and go 3 minutes back. Watch now.
How?
It's 5:16. But this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Archana, look at your phone as well. Check what time is it on your phone. Check. Is it 5:16 on your
Because
phone
you
as well?
tapped my phone with yours.
Is it 5:16 as well?
Yeah.
But look, if we've actually gone 3 minutes back, you just picked the 9 of diamonds, right? You
Right.
just picked it.
Right.
Remember we clicked the photo? Open that photo.
Photo.
Yeah, open that photo. The one we clicked in the beginning. Last picture.
This one.
Yeah, and can you zoom in on the wallet? Are you holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? 9 of diamonds inside?
No, like how? No, can you please tell me like how? How is it possible? Can you please teach me?
Guys, we are going to the casino to cheat. I think it's time. Let's go.
Okay, let's
and
go.
cheat. Yeah,
See you
perfect.
then. Bye bye.